This video is lesson 12 of the Hands-on Equations learning system. And in this lesson, I'm going to show you an alternative approach to solving the kinds of equations that we looked at in lesson 11. So let's start by looking at the same equation that we started lesson 11 with, and that was 2x equals star plus 6. I'll go ahead and set that up. 2x equals star and a 6. And in our previous lesson, we added an x-man to each side. Then we formed a zero pair right here, and we removed that zero pair, and then we were able to solve. Let me reset that. And that was definitely one effective strategy for solving this equation. But there is another way that we can isolate the 6, which means get it by itself on this side of the equation. And we can do that by adding a zero pair to the left-hand side. We know that a zero pair has no value. So if I take a blue pawn and a white pawn, the X and the star, and I put them both in this balance over here, I know I just added nothing to the left-hand side of the equation. And now, having added nothing to the left-hand side of the equation, there is a legal move that I can now make. I can see that there is a white pawn, the star, on each side of the equation, and I know if I take both of those off at the same time, I won't change the balance of the equation. So once I remove a white pawn from each side, I get back to exactly where I was in lesson 11, where I am left with 3x equals 6, so therefore x equals 2. Here's another example. We have x plus 2 more x's plus 4 equals star. Right now, there's nothing that I can take away from both sides of the equation. I want to isolate the number on the left-hand side of this equation, so I need to somehow get rid of these 3 x's. One way that I can do that is by adding zero pairs to this right-hand side. And once I've added 3 zero pairs, now I can see that I have 3 x's that I can pair up and remove. So there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. So now I got rid of those 3 x's, and on the right hand side I have 4 stars, and those 4 stars equal 4. So 4 times what is 4? 4 times 1 is 4. So star has a value of 1, which means x has a value of -1. We definitely want to reset this equation to its original form for us to do our check. And then substitute the values of x and star. X was -1. Star was 1. And then count. -1, -2, -3. -3 plus 4 would be +1. And then, of course, we have +1 over here. So we've confirmed that this equation is true for star equals 1 and x equals -1. I suggest you pause the video here and try this next example on your own, and then come back and unpause the video and check your solution. We have 3 stars plus 20, and I'm going to use 2 10s for that. 3 stars plus 20 equals x. And right now I don't see anything that I can take away from both sides because I don't have a zero pair on one side, I don't have number cubes on both sides, and I don't have like pawns on both sides. I want to try to isolate these numbers on the left-hand side, which means I want to get rid of these 3 stars. To get rid of those 3 stars, I'm going to add 3 zero pairs to the opposite side. There's 1, 2, 3 zero pairs. Now I have enough stars on both sides that I can remove 1 star at a time from each side. So that one pairs with that one, and that one pairs with that one. Now once I organize my pieces, I can see that I have 4x equals 20. 4 times what is 20? 4 times 5 is 20. If x is 5, star equals -5. I'm going to reset my equation to its original state. 3 star plus 20 equals x. and then substitute my solutions. My solution was star was -5 and x was +5. So on the left-hand side, I have 20, but then I'm subtracting 5 3 times. So that's -15 plus 20, or 20 minus 15, which is equal to 5. And of course, the right-hand side is just 5. Our check confirms that when x is 5 and star is -5, our equation is true. To recap, in this lesson, we were again presented with an equation where we did not have the ability to remove any pieces from either side of the equation. So in order to be able to remove some pawns, we added 0 pairs to the opposite side of those pawns.